First off, just say it's a real honor to be invited to speak here today. There's so many people, so much experience across the world of FMCG. I was asked to talk about our story and then the approach that we take to innovation at BOL, and most specifically, how we came to launch this salad jar range in the summer last year. So, by way of introduction to myself, my segue into the world of food was slightly unorthodox. I had many failed attempts at being a professional sportsman. So I tried football, failed, tried rugby, failed, and the last attempt I had was as a professional snowboard instructor in California. And I obviously wasn't very good at doing that either, because I took on a jump that was far too big for me, nearly killed myself, broke every bone in my wrist, dislocated elbow, hit my head, and spent 6 months recuperating in California with a cast on. So it was at that time, a long, long time ago, in my early 20s, that I realized sport wasn't for me, and I had to rethink my career. So it was living in California that I realized there was just a different way of eating out there. People just cared so much more about the ingredients and the quality of the food versus what I was used to back here in the UK. And I was inspired to write my first business plan, so I wrote a business plan to start a healthy Mexican fast casual restaurant. Came back to England, didn't manage to get it off the ground because I couldn't get the funding, but really wanted to get involved in the food and drink industry. I felt that was my calling. It was whilst I was down in London looking for a job that I came across Innocent. So Innocent were in their first year. I'm sure you've all heard of Innocent. They were selling smoothies just in London at the time. And they're pretty famous for lots of things, but on the back of the packaging, there was a banana phone telephone number. It was 0208 600 3939. It said, give it a call or pop into Fruit Towers for a chat. So I fell in love with the brand immediately. There was so much about it that had got me, similar stuff had got me excited over in California. I managed to get an audience with Rich, Adam, and John, the original Innocent founders, and convince them, even though I didn't even know what bloody FMCG meant, to give me a job. I really didn't have a clue. So this is me with a dodgy haircut and some pretty interesting vehicles. My favorite that I was driving around with for years was the cow van. So that had eyelashes, as you can see, horns, a tail, and when you hit the horn, it actually mooed. So you talk about innovation. Innocent did lots of innovative things, not just in the product, but in everything we did. And it was an unbelievable experience for myself to work there for 14 years and be involved with a business that was selling smoothies in London to then ultimately becoming the biggest juice company in Europe. I launched the veg pot range with the team in 2008, and so was managing the food business, which hopefully some of you tried over the years. When Coca-Cola took over Innocent, the focus was 100% on drink. So I knew it was my time to follow my passion and start my own food business, and so took a lot of the learnings from Innocent and translated that into BOL. So I'm just going to show you a really short video here, which will give those of you that don't know much about us a flavor for what we're all about. So I hope you like the video. Our mission is really simple, to make it easy for busy people to eat well. We're 18 months young. In our first 12 months, we did over 7 million in retail sales and turned a relatively decent profit. 100% of our profits, year one profits, we've donated back to charity. So we're big fans of the Action Against Hunger charity. So we're working with them on a project in Rajasthan, India, to help acute child malnutrition. So as a business, we're really proud of doing business the right way. And so that's a charity that I'd encourage you all just to check out if you don't know much about it. So our launch range, the first bit of innovation that we did was our lunch pots. You probably see some similarities with the Innocent range. We're big fans of the flexitarian way of eating. So most of the products that we produce now and will do over the years will be plant-based, but we're all about balance as well. So we have introduced a couple of recipes with British chicken. In the summer, we launched our salad jars, and Katie's going to come on and tell you a little bit more about those in a minute, and hopefully there's one in front of each of you. And then a couple of weeks ago, we launched into dinner. So we've launched our range of dinner bowls. We want to make it easy for busy people to eat well at any time of day. So lunch, dinner, love to get involved in breakfast, and we've got some snacking ideas in the pipeline that I'll show you at the end. So as part of our story, it'd be amiss of me not to talk about the team. So we've got a relatively small team. There's less than 10 of us, but there's a huge amount of experience in the team. So there's people that have treaded the boards at Unilever, Procter & Gamble, L'Oreal. We work with a couple of the relatively big players in the world of food, so we can scale up our kitchen ideas, the likes of Sandwich Brothers and Food Utopia. Onto innovation. So as a startup brand, it's probably never more important to get the product right, so that the product is the brand, the product is the marketing campaign, the product is our reputation, and if we don't get the product right, then we'll have no platform to grow, and we'll be swallowed up. So when Charles asked me to come and speak here today, I thought I'd just give you a bit of an insight into the process we go through to bring innovation to market. So not that revolutionary, but definitely start by understanding the consumer and trying to solve a problem. And I think it's easy to say it, but actually really properly get under the skin. So don't always believe the data. I think everyone's become a little bit too obsessed with data in this day and age. Brexit wasn't really predicted. Donald Trump getting in wasn't really predicted. So what we did was we actually went back to California, or I went back to California. I convinced the finance director to go on a food safari for a week and immerse myself in Californian culture again, and did everything from CrossFit to going to see offices, seeing how people were eating, going to all the healthy eating places, and had a real aha moment when I was in California and saw the fact that people were eating from these Kilner salad jars and actually using them as Tupperware, and that was something in my mind that thought, oh, we could do something similar back here in the UK. So the consumers were telling us when we were talking about salads what they didn't like. So they were telling us that they didn't like the flimsy packaging it tended to come in, that they were having a salad that was meant to be healthy, but it was a really unhealthy dressing, that often the quality of the ingredients wasn't what they wanted. It was too pasta heavy, it was too leaf heavy. So again, it's trying to understand all of these problems and then working out how we could create something that would solve those problems. So here's a picture of the jars that were pretty similar to what got me excited in California about a year ago. And then as a team, we all got together and said, right, we definitely want to launch a salad, and we want to solve all of these problems consumers have been telling us. So we set ourselves a pretty ambitious target, and that is to create the best prepared salads in the UK. Hopefully you guys will try and enjoy them in a bit. Whether we've achieved that yet, I don't know, but that's definitely what we're aiming for. All very well having big objectives, but you need to get the right team in place. As I say, we've got a really small team, and we actually use lots of other specialists to get involved and help us out with projects. So top left-hand corner is Alex Mackay. So he's a Kiwi chef who has worked in Michelin-star restaurants, and he really is a big lover of salads. So we got him involved, and he certainly was responsible for creating our amazing dressings. Top right-hand corner is Ian Marber, the food doctor. So he's a pretty renowned nutritionist, and he makes sure that everything we deliver through BOL is really nutritionally positive. And then finally, Rich, Adam, and John, the Innocent founders. So the BOL business is completely independent to Innocent, but the guys have invested in the business, and so are kind of big brothers to us, and can help us with all of our processes. So coming on to processes, I think it's a bit of a misnomer that startups can kind of fly by the seat of the pants and kind of just work in a pretty chaotic environment. It definitely has felt like that at times, but I think it's absolutely crucial to have a clear decision-making process when working on innovation. Otherwise, lots of time can be wasted. So we stole with pride lots of the learnings from all of the companies that we've worked at, and have a really clear decision-making process with a critical path for everything that we do. So here's just a few of the questions that we needed to answer before we started getting into the production phase. So what would our unique selling point be? What would the commercials be? What would the target cost of goods be? What do we think it could retail at? How could a brand that has only done hot food then stretch into doing cold food as well? The packaging, obviously really interesting talk just happened there, absolutely crucial. Which would be the best launch recipes? And then we have something at BOL which we call a pre-mortem. So before we launch anything, we put our most cynical hats on. So it's all great when you're doing innovation and you're in a project team and everyone's really excited and everyone's really positive, but I think it's almost as helpful sometimes to say, okay, right, what if? And really sweat out the what if something went wrong, or what if a consumer didn't like this or that, and try to put in place as many mitigation plans as possible. And then get into the design phase. So we got lots of different jars from all around Europe. We played around with lots of different labels, the messaging hierarchy. We became pretty proficient at spray painting. So we didn't know whether to go black lid, white lid, green lid. Going to retailer meetings with the concept and the salad jar smelling of paint is not advisable. So don't do that. And actually, it just seems such a basic thing, but just getting the concepts and taking them out and putting them on the shelves. So the light in a studio or an office is very different to the light in a fridge. So I was convinced we'd go for the black lid. You take it out and put it on a shelf, and knew it was a crap idea. So forks, we had major issues with the forks. Katie's going to come on to talk about it in a bit, but yeah, if there's anybody out there that is involved in the fork industry, then come and have a chat, because we definitely think there's work to be done on our fork. So I'm now going to invite Katie, who's our head of brand, on stage to talk you through the salad jar concept itself.
So here is our range of four beautiful salad jars that we've launched with. So we've got the Californian, the Persian, the Mediterranean, and the Japanese. As you saw in the video, our salads are packed full of flavour, and they're a mix of healthy grains, pulses, fresh and your healthy fats, with some beautiful homemade dressings on top. They're 2 of your 5 a day, under 350 calories, but at 300 grams, it's still a full portion. So you won't be reaching for a bag of crisps come 4 o'clock. I'm going to talk you just through my favourite, which is the Japanese, and how we made up this recipe. So in the Japanese, our layer of grains is black rice and black beans. We've then got a beautiful layer of edamame beans and a raw slaw, which is made up of radish, red pepper, red cabbage, and carrot. And then for a nice bit of taste and crunch on top, we've got some char-grilled tender stem broccoli. Now I can tell you, I can't tell you how many different levels of charring of broccoli I've now tasted, but I'm hoping in this recipe we think we've nailed it, but I'd love some feedback. So what I'd now like to do is to get everybody up on their feet, please. And we're going to do a team shake it to make it. 3, 2, 1, shake! Amazing.
Brilliant.
So hopefully what you now all have is a beautifully shaken up salad. I'm so sick of eating a salad where I get a really big gloopy bit and then I get a bit at the end that's got no dressing on it. So they're perfectly shaken up, ready for you to eat. A big part of my campaign has been encouraging people to reuse these beautiful jars. So upcycling is one of the best forms of recycling, as in not throwing it away. So whether it's to make your own salad, to do some overnight porridge oats, or like my mum, who's an orthodontist who stores her brackets in at work. As a business, we're continuing to work on how we can improve this, whether it's to make it less plastic heavy, or I would love to set up a supply chain where people can give them back to us and we reuse them. So James, I will be coming to find you. And I'm now going to hand back over to Paul, who's going to talk a bit about the launch.
Great. So once we got to the place where we developed the concept, we had our first couple of production runs, and as a team, we just went and sampled them all around London, got more consumer feedback, and then just started to go and speak to retailers about listing them. As I say, we launched in the middle of summer. Delighted to say that we have listings in Planet Organic, As Nature Intended, Ocado, Amazon Fresh, WH Smith's. Hopefully, lots more to come over the next few years. A startup brand with relatively small budgets. It's we have to be really careful with how we spend our money on marketing. So our strategy was very much to focus on getting as many of the products out into the hands of journalists and influencers as possible. I'm hoping lots of you are trying our salads for the first time and enjoying them. What I love about social media at the moment is that for a startup brand, it really can be such an incredible platform to get the word out there. So pretty much all of these pictures have been taken by consumers that have now become BOL fans. They love what we're doing. They're taking pictures of what we do. They're giving us feedback. Down here was a particularly exciting moment for ourselves. So this is some models at London Fashion Week. So London Fashion Week got in touch with us and said that a number of the clients had requested that BOL salad jars be put backstage. So we were feeding lots of people, all the models at London Fashion Week. We got a personal email from Paul Smith saying how much he loved them and how much he wanted them at all his shows. And it's definitely not true that models don't eat. They got through thousands of our BOL salad jars. This is definitely not a case of kind of patting ourselves on the back and saying, well, we've done a good job, let's just rest on our laurels. We're big fans of the Japanese approach to Kaizen, of just continuous improvement, and also the Silicon Valley approach of just testing and learning, getting things out to market as quickly as possible, hopefully not failing, but learning about how we can improve things whilst things are in market. So I'm kind of going to properly reveal a few of the challenges that we've had, which is still part of the innovation process. So I'm guessing there's a few of you that probably don't have labels that are completely straight. We could have not launched and waited until we've got the labels completely straight, but we think even though that does really stress me out, I'd rather we're first to market with this concept and we can improve things along the way. So within the next month, we will be having completely straight labels. It's not as easy as I thought it would be. So this is the jar, the fork, and the dressing pot that you guys would have just tried. we're moving towards less plastic heavy, so we're halving the size of our dressing pot and actually turning it into a little smile like our BOL logo, which is actually really practical to pour as well. We're going to replace the plastic fork with a bamboo fork, and we're moving to a jar which is going to contain a minimum of 10% less plastic and hopefully more. So that is a short story to who we are at BOL and how we carried out our innovation for the salad jars. All of our salad jars are completely vegan and vegetarian, so they are going to continue to stay like that, but we've had feedback from consumers that they would love to get a bit more of a protein hit. So this is a complete sneak preview to a product that we're looking to launch at the beginning of next year, and that is our protein balls. So a range of chicken and egg products that people can use to add into the salad or perhaps just have as a snack on its own. So there's a few takeouts. I'm not going to go through this whole list because I'm guessing you guys want to stand up and get stuck into your lunch, but a couple of things from me: absolutely properly understand the consumer. Don't just believe the data. It's amazing how just talking to people can really help with these projects. Keep evolving, keep re-evaluating, continuously try to improve the products that are in the market, and definitely have some fun along the way. We've definitely really enjoyed bringing this product to market. So this is the last slide for myself. The biggest challenge we have with our consumers is they tell us they can't find places to get our salad jars. So if there is any interest in the room to listing them, then please grab myself or Katie. Bit of a shameless plug, but #StartupLife. Thank you very much for listening. Cheers.